This is a quick and dirty video on how to take your Shimano 105 shifter apart. As you can see, it is removed from the bike. Hood has been removed also. And let's start with the cover over here. I don't know if you can read that. It says lift to access cable. Lift the side. And there's the cable. Normally the cable would come out over there. The cable has been removed too. Let's take this door completely off. Looking down there, you can see that there's a little bit of a plastic piece in there. It's barbed, so you just need to get one side pushed back in. One side, the other barb, and pulled out. Okay, that was a crappy job, but you see that the barb is pulled out. Next part would be to remove the bottom cover. There's a screw. Let's put things over there. Bottom piece there. That holds that plastic cover on. And then this plastic cover also gets removed. And look, you can see all the mechanisms in here. Sometimes you're able to remove any shards of cable that are stuck in this. In here and get your shifter working again. If not, well, then you need to take the rest of this thing apart. Let's start with pressing this pin out. You can, because it's just a spring pin in plastic, you can just push it out and then unscrew this part. I don't quite have the right size spanner, but this works well enough. Not to mention, of course, I've already loosened it once or twice before taking this thing apart. And it has loosened up. And that screw goes over there. Next piece to come out is this plastic piece. I forget how the best way of doing this is, but I'm just using a paper clip unbent to help push this thing out. Alright, that doesn't work all that well, does it? So much for quick and dirty here. You can see that it's starting to peel up that way. But it doesn't like it, so like I said, push from the other side. No, the screwdriver's way too big. Alright, well, we'll just use the hook and hook it out like that. Alright, that was so much easier doing it with the hook. Now the fun part is you can try to take the lever itself off. There is a C-clip holding the pin in here, but let's try taking this shifter mechanism out even before taking this off. If you look down here, you can see that there is a screw. Here, let me see if I can adjust the focus a bit better. in here. The fun part is this hole allows you access to the screw, but first you need to loosen up the travel, what is it? Yeah, the brake lever positioning screw. So just unscrew a few turns. Let's remove this out of the way since that's no longer useful. And you can see now there's a screw. There's that screw head. Just need to go straight in and unscrew. Oh, and there it goes. That goes over there. But one last piece is remove this set screw in here. Is it still 2mm? I believe it was. Yeah, let's try the 1.5mm instead. 1.5mm. Yes. You only need to unscrew it like one turn. And your shifter mechanism runs into your lever. Okay. So that means let's alright, let's just pull the lever off. Like I said, there's a spring clip in here that we need to remove. Circlip. That silver thing right there. I'm just going to push it out a little bit. Yeah, screwdriver's not really the right thing to use. Of course, what I'm really tempted to use is even less appropriate. But before that, let's try the handy dandy paperclip. Press flat in. What? Using the hook on the paperclip again? Oh, okay. Nope, it's still not big enough. Or it's still too big. Alright, so we need something narrow and flat. That almost looks like it would work, huh? Nope, it's still not flat enough. Give me a moment while I grab something else. I could hit pause. X-Acto knife. Really? Yes, okay, but using the back side of it now, presses that out well enough. And of course, make sure you don't make the circlip go flying. So there's your circlip. And now you need to press this piece out. Let's see, what do I use? Just a drift will actually push well enough. Maybe it's because I've taken this thing apart numerous times. Maybe it's actually because it's not in all that tight. Now the fun part is there's a spring here. It's not going to go flying, but it does have to pull straight up out of the hole there. So we just pull straight this direction. Oh, look. Sorry, this is your shifter mechanism. Now, if you really wanted to, put this way over here. Anyway, this is your shifter mechanism, and like I said, let's see, this is where the cable goes in, and often there would be shards of frayed cable stuck in this area, and this usually gets it far enough apart that you can't clean it. Now let's actually figure out how this thing works. What is it? This is the front, and so when you're shifting, it's going to be shifting this way. And to shift down, it's this side, both levers. This ratchet is caught, and it just goes and pushes everything, and actually pushes this other ratchet until this ratchets around and gets the next gear. Oh wait, let's do two. There you go. Now the other way is to undo it. That's this one that goes this direction. Let's just show what starts happening. When this starts moving, it starts pulling that first ratchet up so that this thing can go around. And on this side, it's sort of like an escape mechanism from a clock. Okay, so this starts going this way. This starts pushing ratchet down while pulling this ratchet up. So the ratchet goes down, so the gear can only move so much, and then this other ratchet gets pulled up and goes. Yeah. And I believe you see that this has actually gotten down to the highest gear. Okay, now how do you take this part apart? Well, this is a very good hint here. What I have done is I've already ground away at this. This is nut and the bolt through that. What had happened is when they assembled this, they tightened down the nut and then peened the bolt over so that it can't actually unscrew out. So what I did was I ground away at the peening so that I can unscrew it. Now let me just go grab a crescent wrench. At this point, you really want to be careful when taking all this stuff apart. Getting it back together again is a whole nother video. Once I figure out how to do this stuff myself. So unscrew this nut. I forget what it's called. It's not really a nut. But so this part is threaded, and it's sort of let's just call it a nut for the time being. So unscrew. You see that this part is already coming undone. That's fine. Okay, so nut comes off, the brace comes off, and then what comes off? And then this plastic. What was that plastic bushing for? I don't remember. But anyway, watch out. First, this brass bushing comes off. The plastic bushing here. And now this piece. What we're going to do first is we're going to take this spring off. Interestingly, this spring, again, let's just use this. The spring is just in the hole in this piece. So, it sprung out, and it hooks onto right over here. Now, the fun part is this doesn't come out anymore because it's being held in, well, you can see this piece. The shaft goes with the ratchet, and then the ratchet is the end of the shaft is being held in with this circlip. Yeah, if you could see that. So again, let's take that off. Again, be careful. You don't want the circlip to go flying. It's a pain when it does. Okay, you see just the edge of it there? Alright. Luckily, these circlips haven't gone flying on me. Now, what you can do is you just pull this open. The fun part is that there's this part for that arm, and then this ratchet also comes undone. This circlip goes with the peg there. Oh, look what happened now. Another bushing and another similar looking brass whatever shoulder piece. I'm just going to leave them attached to each other right there. Oh look, spring. Let's unhook the spring. And that comes out over like this. Oh, look. And then this piece comes undone. This has a ratchet, well, sort of a ratchet on it, a pawl on it, but it's press fit in, peened over and riveted or whatever. So we'll just leave it like that. Look, and there's a little bushing on here also. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave it in there. Oh look, one more spring. Or another spring. There's still many more springs. Did we count them? One spring. There's a spring on here that was going with that pawl. So 1, 2, 3. And there's a spring on this pawl also. That's 4. So this is number 5. Again, just look, hook this thing around and pull it up and around. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the escapement, well, I don't know what starts pushing the escapement. And you know what? I'm going to have to clean that later. This, look, another bushing. But anyway, so there's that part. Now, this piece that was holding the spring on has a shaft going through it, and that's also with the escapement pieces, that pawl and this pawl. And there are springs, so that would be number 6 and number 7. And so this shaft goes through, and there's still, well, look, another spring pin. Okay, let's try not to lose this one too. But remove it. What am I doing? I am holding my fingers over here just in case the spring goes, the circlip goes flying. Alright, no, it hasn't gone flying, but it's loosened up so that we can get the edge of the screwdriver in there and pull it out. These things seem like they're magnetized, don't they? Alright, now the fun part is this spring right here is well tensioned against the pawl, and you see that it's moving things around. I haven't figured out how to get this part best. Okay, well, here. Apparently, you do it by just pulling out the center shaft. That's not how it goes back together again, though. And so this goes flying off to the side. And you try to pull out. That's not the way to do it properly. But anyway, you're still just trying to get the shaft out through here. I'm just going to use my screwdriver to pull it out. Well, let's hope that I did not lose all those pieces. Pause while we try to find that last spring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this thing back through here. Main shaft went in like this. Spring. So this was the main spring holder with holding the escapement pieces on it. If you really wanted to, you could take all the stuff apart. So there's that spring. What was that number now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's an 8th in there. And then this is the main part, or the main attraction. This is the part that this holds the cable, and you can see that the cable head goes in here, and cable goes around here, and this has the escapement gears, and then these are the gears that get pushed the other direction to just, push it to a larger cog. So, oh look, another shaft. Well, I don't know why they've got 2 bushings in here, 2 nested bushings, except so that this inner bushing goes all the way through, everything gets held tight. This outer bushing is just, well, another size. So let's pull this stuff out. Outer bushing, inner bushing, support. I'm going to leave that in there so I know which direction it is. And these are the last 4 pieces. Cog, or let's call that the downshift ratchet, a washer, upshift ratchet, and cable holder. Main shaft, and that is the full shifter taken apart. I haven't taken apart the main this main lever. It's straightforward, I think. I'm just going to not worry about that right now. Thank you for watching, and at some point I will try to figure out how to put this back together again.